7:30's Nadia Daly is in Casino. Nadia, what's the latest on the fire today?
Well, tonight, Lee, dozens of fires are still burning around the state. 29 houses have been destroyed, 130 have been saved.
Nadia, what can you tell us about the bodies that were found today?
Well, yesterday, police made the very grim discovery of two bodies at the site of one of the extinguished fires. Now, they were looking for two missing people, a 77-year-old man and a 68-year-old woman. Two bodies were found at their home, but 7:30 understands the state of them was such that they couldn't be formally identified and further forensic investigations will be needed.
And people are starting to now return to their homes, or in some cases, I guess, what remains of them.
Yeah, well, locals here are just starting to assess the damage done when the fire ripped through this region in northern New South Wales late on Tuesday. One of the region's oldest residents, 90-year-old Jane Harrison, went back to the site of her property today, which was destroyed in the blaze, and she took 7:30 along with her. Rappville is still smouldering, but the clean-up has already begun. While the local pub still stands, 21 homes have been lost and almost entire streets wiped out. "90-year-old Jane Harrison has lived in the nearby town Ellengowan for 3 decades. She's seen floods and drought, but never anything like this.
So it's burnt right through Mum's front paddock.
Look a bit sad and sorry, doesn't it?
Tank's still there.
Oh, so it is,
The
yeah.
shed got a bit singed.
Now, under all that somewhere is my engagement ring.
The smouldering embers on the drive into her property are an ominous sign of what's to come. On Tuesday, as the fire drew close, Jane's 65-year-old son Ross urged her to flee.
And I could see that the fire was running west to east, and there was a predicted southerly change, and I thought straight away I knew what was going to happen. So I actually got onto the neighbours and asked them to get Mum out because I couldn't get her on the phone, because I knew what was going to happen. Once the wind turned, it was going to roar through here, which it did.
This is the first time Ross and Jane have returned to see what remains of the family home.
It's partly melted, the aluminium. Look at that.
Jane fled with just the clothes she was wearing.
Well, it's sure a mess, isn't it?
It's still sinking in for you?
Yes. It hasn't hit bottom yet, but I suppose it will eventually.
That was mother's wedding dress.
So this was this is your wedding dress, Jane?
Yeah.
Yep.
Gosh.
And the heat was so intense, it's just disintegrated. Even though it was in a box, it's just disintegrated it.
So this was a white dress?
Yeah,
Yes.
white satin
wedding
dress.
day.
Satin dress, yeah.
Jeez, what does it feel like to see this?
Well, this was the main feed off the roof for the water supply for the house.
All that's left is the backyard shed.
It got the trailer. There's enough heat got in here. Well, I had a fair idea what I was going to confront, but it's still, when you see it in actual on the ground, it's heartbreaking.
This really gives you a sense of what happened here. The fire's torn through, fuelled by what was waist-high grass, and along the way it's torn down these power lines. That, of course, means that the few residents that remain here are now without electricity. Of the 36 fires burning across New South Wales, 9 are still out of control. Extra volunteers have been brought in from South Australia, the ACT and Victoria to relieve local firefighters who have laboured for days without a break. Back in Ellengowan, Jane's neighbour, 70-year-old Shane Gibbons, was lucky. Her house survived the fire, but only just.
Tuesday morning, there was a massive plume of smoke to the east, and we watched it all day coming and going and changing colour. And we knew it was getting closer and closer. We'd heard that it had jumped the highway.
Shane was at home and saw the smoke approaching, but says she didn't get any warning to evacuate.
We've got no hoses. I don't have any electricity, so there's no pressure for the hose. I just turned on what gravity hoses I had, but that was just a dribble.
Do you feel lucky?
Oh, I'm so lucky.
By the time the flames were lapping at her front yard, it was too late.
I saw there first, that's my way out, I couldn't get out, and as I looked, all that perimeter was on fire coming in.
But at the last minute, the wind changed directions and turned the blaze away from her front door.
My daughter texted me, pray. I said, oh, he's here. The wind's just changed. He's here. He's looking after me. And apparently they thought I was gone. That's my hose pressure. I couldn't save stop a fire with that.
And I suppose we all knew about bushfires and all the rest of it, and it was always in the back of people's minds that you'd have to beware and be aware of it.
While Jane may have lost her home and almost everything she owns, her neighbours are just happy this living treasure is still alive.
Hello. Wow. How would you be?
So
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.